Hey there, welcome back. Once again, it is time for the Comics Coffee Table. It's 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern, and we make a daily comic book show. We leave our problems over there. We pull up a chair, we grab a cuppa, and we sit down at our coffee table and enjoy a break from our day. Cheers. That's pretty darn good. How are you today? Thanks for dropping by. We are using these two books with my comic book collection this year to have some daily comic book talk. This is the Overstreet Comic Book Price Guide, the latest one, 52nd edition. This is the Overstreet Guide to Grading Comics, 6th edition, released in 2021. There were also gifts from my parents at Christmas time. So this season is dedicated to my parents. Thank you so very much. I love you both. My mom and my Hoppy Poppy, my stepdad. That's his nickname's Hoppy, is why I call him Hoppy Poppy. Ain't that cute? Yes, indeed. And yeah, you're not the only cute thing about this show. My executive producer, who makes us these awesome show notes that we follow to a T every episode, or else we'll hear about it during the meetings in the green room from our studio, our Boston studios, our production team. Thank you very much. So the coffee table was always where my friends would meet up. We'd always have a stack of movies or a stack of music or a stack of comic books, and as you can see already, they're all bagged, they're all boarded. I mean, well, these are the new ones that we bought last week, but they get boards right away now. And as we'll see, so yeah, we're going to rebag, reboard, and rebox my entire collection. Along the way, we're going to grade them. We're going to learn how to grade. Now, if you have any serious questions about the condition or value of your comic books, I suggest you go to your local comic book shop and talk to the staff and the owners. And they can give you the best advice because you know what? This is a caveat, I guess, for the show. I am not a professional grader. This is not about... I am learning to have an appreciation for that angle of my comic book collection, and I invite you to have this voyage with me and with us. If you have a collection at home, well, you know what? There are links in the description to the Amazon page for both of these. Play along at home. Value your collection as we're going along. I'm not saying you're going to resell anything for the value that's quoted in the Overstreet Price Guide. I am saying that, I'm a comic book fan. How much is my comic book collection worth? Well, I'm going to get like a ball house kind of idea of that. You know what I mean? And about this time, too, in this show, as we open up our program for the day, this show is on a mission. The show is on a mission to get you to go back to your local comic book shop to buy supplies. I'm switching from the long boxes to the short box. The older I get, the heavier these things get, and I need to respect that. So, while I'm at it, these long boxes have done their job. They've protected the comic books, and they're beat up, and they need to be retired. So yeah, I'm getting. I'm going to my local comic book shops and not just getting my weekly releases regularly. I'm getting bags. I'm getting boards. And I'm getting boxes. My supplies, I'm getting them all at my local comic book shop. Yeah. I am. And, before we continue with the show, I want to... I don't think I want to get hung up on milestones or this or that. I usually don't. There are a couple of milestones out there that I'm looking forward to. But this is I guess, the first milestone I guess I could just record. Perhaps. This is our 400th This is our 401st consecutive episode of daily content at 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern. We talk about comic books, and we're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. We promised that back in the golden age of DC 365 days. But I forgot to mention it yesterday, to be quite honest with you. Yesterday would have been the 400th episode. And 400th consecutive episode as well. I mean, there are a bunch of like special episodes. You can find those in the playlist. You know, we did a grand tour of my local comic book shops over my winter break. I'm a professional chef. I work at a local university, and I'm on winter break between semesters. And so I take this opportunity, retool my show, and to do this like little grand tour of my local comic book shops. You can find that in its own playlist. I'll put that at the end as well. You'll see that playlist and enjoy, you know, just this, you know, a field trip of my local comic book shops. I have several. I'm so blessed. I know some people only have one. And the whole thing of, you know, going to our comic book shops for supplies is a big deal, because when they're gone, they're gone. And yeah, but thank you very much for helping keeping this show going. You are the most important ingredient in our recipe. This show, this conversation, the live chat. If I'm able to make it at 3 p.m. Today's my first day back at work after my winter break. Winter break's over. Winter semester has begun, and it's full speed ahead until summertime. And but yeah, it was very nice to have a break. Very nice to come to the live chat premiere every day. I try to make it like as much as I can during work. Sometimes I get out of the subway and it's 3:10, something like that. So I try to make the live chat of the premiere every time I can, because it's humbling. I'm blessed, and it's so great to be talking to everyone and leave comments in the comment sections and continue the conversation. But 401 consecutive episodes! Woohoo! Yeah! That's awesome. Thank you very much for being part of that. While going to my local comic book shops, of the very many in this area, I came across a long box filled with Bronze Age goodies of the kind that were part of my growing up. When I was 8 years old in the summer of 1981. I was 8 years old in the summer of 1981. I'd turned 9 in November. And I had just discovered, like, that kind of, at that age, like, you know, having pocket change on a regular basis. You know, I was going to day camp. And it was during the summertime. And it was the summer of 1981. It was at a place called the Dorchester House. And the Little House, I believe. Was it the Little House, Dorchester? Or was it the I forget. It's one of the two. And it was like a YMCA run place for like social stuff and youth programs. So they had a day bus camp. They were, you know, the kids pick them up in the daytime. They'd go to one of the to the to like state parks and beaches. And they also had a camp called Camp Winnipeg. No, that was a different camp. But yeah, they would come back in the afternoon. But there was a corner store right there on the corner of Mass Ave and East Cottage Street, Dorchester Avenue, on Dot Ave in East Cottage. There, it was called the Creamery, and then back then it was called Patty's Pantry, and I forget what it's called right now, but it's under a different name. But it's still a local corner store, a bodega. But it had a spinner rack full of Marvel and DC comics where I would have daily pocket change. My mom would give me some pocket change, a little bit every day, you know, like 50, 60 cents, maybe $1, you know, to use for my pocket, because, you know, a kid needed a juice and or a Coke and a candy bar. You know what I mean? Something like that. And or it may have just been like 50 cents because comic books at that time, Marvel comic books went from 50 cents to 60 cents in that time. So it wouldn't be unusual to have 4 bits in your pocket. 2 bits is a quarter. Know your stuff. But when I was at the Magic Dragon in Arlington last week, I found these. And I must have took this one by mistake too, but I found 5 issues, consecutive issues of Rom the Space Knight from 1981. This is November of 1981, so it was released in August, September, October, November. Okay, so I remember getting these during day camp. At least this one, and maybe this one too. I mean, because also my auntie lived down the street, and she used to have me on weekends sometimes. So it wasn't it was part of my extended neighborhood. That was St. Margaret's Parish, though. That was like wicked far down the street there. I was originally up there at St. Mary's of Chesterhova until they politely asked us to take our patronage down the street to the St. Monica's. But I've been big on getting any Marvel comic of that era from the summer of 81 to the winter of 1982. This would be February 82, so this would have come out in December. They had this banner ad. I think nobody knows who won the Columbia 10-speed Formula 10 racer. Nobody knows. I'd like to know who won the bike. It wasn't me. Chances are it wasn't you. One of you out there won this bike. And in between, too, they had this banner ad for Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. And this is the only time. You'll see another one for for Toys R Us, I believe. And I'm going to pick those ones up, too. But anything with this banner ad, with this slice of history, these artifacts that just bring me so much nostalgia. And I was just happy to get them. Yeah. I mean, I already put some boards in there because that's my... As soon as I get a comic, bring it home. As soon as it gets home, it gets a board. If it has a bag, it doesn't matter. Like here, I've had this issue for a while. I had this when I was a kid too. I was lucky to replace it recently, but I saw this one in a Bronze Age grab bag for $10. It had 4 random Bronze Age issues, but this is so I basically paid $2.50 for this in a way. But this is on my spinner rack. Yet now I really want to get as many of these nostalgic 8 going on 9 slice of my life. I remember the music. I remember just like my friends, my mom and her social sphere. Just like it was a good time. You know what I mean? It was the early 80s. It was just, and this is really nostalgic. And I was so happy to get these because they're on the list. I mean, I have a list of comic books. I keep them. Do you have a list? What's on your list? I keep a list on my notes. Here it is. And comics once, yeah. I'm looking for. Look at that, yeah. The Dark Crisis #0 free comic book day issue. Wouldn't that be good? I mean, Carrie from Nerdy Girl Creates suggested Blue Lock, the manga. Wes from Thinking Critical, his #1 magazine of 2022, was King of Spies by Scott Snyder and Marcos Galera. He also suggested The Last God by Then there's Food Wars and Spy's Family, which are mangas that have been suggested to me too. Nottingham, an untraditional retelling of Robin Hood. There's Do a Powerbomb, Daniel Warren Johnson, Beta Ray Bill by Daniel Warren Johnson. I was suggested the Blade Runner comics. In the back issues, I want some Charlton Space 1999s if I can get a hold of them, and anything with an Olympia bike contest. and there's some random DC comics there. But yeah, any of these comics right here, like Iron Man 151, Iron Man 152, any of these Marvel comics, if it has this Columbia 10-speed bike Formula 10 racer contest banner ad, I'm gonna get them, and I'm gonna populate my spinner rack with them. I'm gonna totally take everything off my spinner rack and just reevaluate what do I want on display. And I'm pretty much sold on just 80s, because that's just basically my wheelhouse. That was my time. I had a comic book store. I had 2 comic book shops. I had one in downtown Boston, and then I had one in Quincy, Senna, at the Rotary. My grandparents had just moved there from Dorchester. They moved to Hospital Hill in Quincy. And so let's just, for shits and giggles. I mean, okay. What do we like to do? Scratch our nose on camera. That's what we like to do. What was 50 cents in November, in August of 1981? That would be 86 cents today. Seriously. So yeah, I probably had $1 in my pocket. My mother had this great joke. It was like, if I had $1, I'd give you 50 cents, kid. It was share and share alike. It was just the 2 of us. My single working mom and me, my friggin' only childness. Oy, that poor lady. God has a special place in heaven for all of us. And especially you, for your only children, parents. Sláinte. For all the parents actually out there. And all the kids. And all the humans. God bless you all. Seriously. But let's look this up. In the Overstreet Comic Book Price Guide. LMNOPQRMS. Romantic. Romance. Space Knight. This is issue 24. Damn, a near mint would be worth $9. That's interesting. This is not near mint. It's pretty darn good, though. Let's see. What would, yeah, a 6.0 would go for $6. Yeah, and I got these pretty darn cheap, too. I mean, he just grouped a bunch of them together. I got 5 issues of ROM. And, let's see, issue 25. Oh, issue 25 is like, it's double-sized. And it's still part of the same grouping. So, a good 2.0 would be $1. A near mint 9.2 would be $9. Ain't that cool? So let's look at these. Let's look, yeah. Oh, look at these. I love the ads. This is a really good condition. The corners look nice. There's no spine roll. There aren't the spine cracks that you usually see. The spine cracks you usually associate with Eric O'Sullivan's comic book collection are not evident here. I mean, I wonder what this would be. I mean, geez, the pages. I mean, are yellow. Not yellow, but I mean, they're not completely white. But still, it's like these are in great condition. Look at that. Let's look at the indicia. Colophone. Right there. ROM, Volume 1, Number 24, November 1981. Indeed. Bill Mantlo did the story. Sal Buscema did the layouts. And Joe Sinot did the finishes. This is great. I love this. So you are going into a new bag, but we're doubling up everything. I don't remember having this one, though. The ROM double-sized. can't recall having the ROM doll. I think a friend of mine had ROM. That's right. Okay. And yeah, his eyes lit up, his chest lit up, and when you put his gun in his hand, the gun lit up. But beyond that, it was just a big ass robot doll. And here we go. We're bagging. We're taping. And that's that. That's just the show. I mean, that's nice. I mean, we found out that actually these could be worth about $6 to $9 a piece if they're in great condition, you know. But maybe not. I got those wicked cheap though. I really did. I mean, they were just because it says it's worth this much in the Overstreet Price guide, it doesn't mean you're going to get that. I mean, I got this from an old comic book shop with bins and bins and bins of long boxes, just full of comics, you know, and it's wanting to get rid of inventory and to clear up some of the, you know, it's just, I'm not saying that's why I'm saying if you have questions regarding the value of your comic books, and or maybe you can just try your hand at on eBay and just say, hey, this is most definitely an 8.0. I'm saying that right now. I'm looking at this and I'm like, this is, you know, there's a little smudge right there. Sure. But I mean, oh, and there's a wrinkle on the, that's a ding. We got a ding. We found a ding. We have to, you know, inspect these things. We have to inspect these dings. But yeah, we got a rumple on the corner there. Can you see that? Okay, that's better. Yeah, you can see it now. We got a rumple on that corner. The whiteness value of, is that even permissible to say anymore? You mean, but gosh, yeah. I mean, thank you so very much for tuning in today. I hope you're clobbering your problems and not being clobbered by them. And please tune in again. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button and join us. We talk about comic books every day. And we're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. It's true. Tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern. We leave our problems at the door just for a couple of moments. We pull up a chair and then grab a cuppa and sit down at our coffee table. And we just talk about the good things about comic books for a few minutes. That's really good. I put a packet of hot chocolate in with the remaining of my coffee. It's really, really good. I'm having such a sugar rush right now. Cheers. God bless. Namaste. And please, yeah, like and subscribe. Bring a friend. There's plenty of room at this coffee table for everyone. Ciao. Bye-bye.